Hey guys, it's Phil here, and today we're going to be reacting to Sum 41's Waiting on a Twist of Fate. They're one of my favorite bands, hence the shirt. I've seen them live like 8 times. Fellow Canadians, gotta support your Canadians, dude. And the song actually came out a while ago, and I was so excited to listen to it, but I've been putting it off because I had the idea for this series. Before we begin, a bit about me. I have a musical background in singing, and I've sang in many different settings, from being in a punk band and a metal band. I was in a choir, I did vocals for some EDM tracks, but I've always just felt most at home in the rock genre. And I wanted to start this series because I noticed a gap in the reaction channels. It seems that, at least for my taste, a lot of them are either too technical, like they're talking about scales and intervals and stuff, or it's just the listener just vibing to the song. Which is cool, there's obviously a big audience for that. But as a vocals guy, my focus has always been on, well, obviously vocals, but also like song structure and melody structure. And that's just kind of what my ear always hears in music. And I think that kind of sits nicely between the two extremes. So without further ado, let's get to the song. Turn this guy on. Got it all locked and loaded. Put these guys on. Okay, finally I get to listen to the song. So for those who don't know, this is gonna be their last album, and it's gonna be a double album. It's gonna be called Heaven and Hell, or Heaven versus Hell, or something like that. The Heaven side is gonna be like the pop punk music, and then the Hell side, I guess you can say it's gonna be the more metal influenced side. So I don't know which this song is gonna be, but from the first frame of the music video, it says Punk Rock Museum, so I guess it's on the Heaven side. Is this a punk rock museum in Vegas? I mean, it has to be. How many punk rock museums are there? Oh, I love Vegas so much. I still haven't been here, funny enough. Okay, here we go. The Punk Rock Museum's owned by Fat Mike from NoFX as well. This security guard looks way too cool. Okay, the punk rock intro riff, of course. The big ring out. The hammer-on pull-off. And then the octaves. All necessary elements of a pop-punk anthem. You've got the hammer-on riff, you've got the big ring-out notes, and then it goes into the octaves. Let's listen to that again. This is what a punk rock anthem should be. Hold the phone. Am I crazy, or am I just dumb? Hang on. Let's listen to this.
Thank you. I didn't know you could.
You've got the riff. And then the hammer-on riff. The big ring-out notes. And then here we go, the octaves. What did I say? All necessary elements of a pop-punk anthem. This is Blink Anthem Part 3. I mean, it's not a bad thing that they're similar, because this is my favorite type of music. I just thought that was funny how they have like a similar vibe. Okay, let's get back to the Sum 41 song. They've got the drums too, the brrrr. Oh, this music makes me so happy. So a little vocal nerd thing. What they're doing here, it's called call and answer, where you have like the gang vocals, the kind of shouting, and then the melody line, and they kind of trade back and forth. In songwriting, they call it call and answer. Just a fun fact. Okay, so I love the chorus, very catchy, what you expect from a pop punk chorus. So I've said this a million times, but I don't care, I'm gonna say it again. Pop punk singers are criminally underrated. They sing deceptively high, like he was up here. So he's up here in head voice. What were the words? I think he said if I had more time. Well, that's what I'm gonna do for this demo. If I had more time. Yeah, so that's head voice. So for those who don't know, head voice is when the note resonates like in your head, and then chest voice is when it resonates in your chest. So for the tenor range, which if you're singing this music, you're probably a tenor, your chest voice kind of goes up to a C. So on pitch would be C. So that resonates in my chest, and everything below is chest voice. Head voice starts at about a G. G. And everything above that is head voice. And some people call it superhead, or some people call it your third or fourth vocal bridge as you get higher into like the power metal guys like Iron Maiden and Dragon Force. But after a G, for a tenor, it's head voice. And the notes between chest voice and head voice, that's called your mixed voice, where you're kind of taking resonance from both chest voice and head voice to kind of fill those sounds. And back to pop punk. In this type of music, in like pop punk or punk rock, whatever you want to call it, or just any genre in that rock vein, most of those singers sing really high, like deceptively high, but you don't really notice it. And a big part of that is because in these genres, the mix and the production, it's very full and it's very uniform in those frequencies. You've got the guitar distortion, you've got the crashing cymbals, you've got those head voice notes, and like the meat of all those elements, they all live in like a very similar frequency range. So it's almost like the singers have to sing that high out of necessity, because when that frequency, it's so thick with all these elements, the vocals need to be able to cut through all that. And you can only do that if you're singing at that range. If you're not singing those notes and you're singing lower notes, the vocals are going to be smothered by all those elements. Now, I'm not saying this is all bands, like there's some bands that made it work with slightly lower vocals, but for the vast majority of bands in this genre, this is why they need to be able to sing those notes, otherwise their vocals aren't going to be pronounced enough. If we look at other genres like pop or R&B or soul, what they do is they kind of clear the way for the vocals in those frequencies. All the instruments and stuff they use, they'll EQ it so it keeps that open. So that's why in those genres, the vocals are very upfront and in your face because they've spread everything else out. But in punk and in rock and in these type of genres, everything's kind of meshed together in those frequencies and it's just super layered and it's just this juicy sandwich of goodness that's right in your face. See, in the other genres, they want the vocals to be center of attention, but in like the rock genres, we want everything to be in your face. Vocals, guitar, drums, everything's just shoved at you at once, and that's why it's my favorite type of music. So let's go back to the chorus again and listen to how Derek's voice kind of meshes in with everything else. Like, it almost sounds like his voice is like, it's so embedded that it almost sounds like an instrument. And a lot of the times, the effects that they use, like the auto-tune and the chorus and the reverb and the delay and that even adds to that embeddedness. And sometimes they'll even add distortion to their voice too, just to like have that all mesh together. I'm saying mesh a lot, but that's all I can think of right now. So let's go back to the chorus and listen to how his voice fits into the music. This is why I say pop punk singers sing deceptively high, because you don't really notice it because of the mix. Sorry, something else I want to mention. Sorry I keep pausing the video, but I mean, if you want to listen to the song, then why are you watching this? So Derek does a little vocal trick here, which I really appreciate. Pay attention to the second line of the chorus. You catch that? So the melody for the first line of the chorus is something like... And the second line... He sneaks in a couple extra notes. This is called a vocal riff or a vocal run. So first line of the chorus, he goes, "If I had more time." But on the second line, he goes, "If I had more time." So he sneaks in a couple extra notes. Listen to it again. Listen to the second line compared to the first line. Here it comes. There's 3 notes there. And at the end as well. I could take. So I love this stuff because it's not so obvious that you can tell right away. You kind of notice that it feels a little more interesting. It feels slightly different, but not so different that it's a whole different melody. So singers usually add vocal riffs and runs as like a flex because it's hard to do, but also because it's just a style thing. It changes the melody slightly, but it still feels like you're listening to the same song. It still feels like the same chorus. Because if you just sang the first line twice, it would sound very like 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2. And like in some songs that's fine, but maybe that's not what he wanted. Maybe he wanted like a slight change just to make it a bit more interesting, not make it sound so repetitive. So I'll let you in on another secret in the singing world. I knew that the chorus would be this note, not because I have a good ear, because I don't think that I particularly do. 90% of pop and pop punk and just radio music, the highest note in the chorus, or the most emphasized note in the chorus, is almost always one of these 4 notes. That's your G, G sharp, A sharp. So in the singing world, we call these the money notes, and it's kind of a joke, but not really. We say that you can't make any money singing unless you can sing these 4 notes. And those 4 notes, it's not a coincidence, and they aren't just arbitrary notes. There's a practical and strategic reason why like 90% of mainstream music has one of those 4 notes as the biggest note in the chorus. I won't get into too much detail in this video because I could talk forever about that. I'll save that for another video. But for now, if you've ever wondered why there always seems to be like a similar feel to mainstream music, this is part of why. Okay, back to the song. We're gonna have listened to this chorus like 18 times, but it's a good chorus, so I'm not complaining. Maybe you are. I'm not. Was that guy from the Fat Lip video, the robot guy? Oh, here we go. I'm assuming guitar solo, chorus, chorus. There he is. Man, Dave is so freaking cool. This is cool. Okay, so to my point earlier, you hear how he sang an octave lower in this little breakdown? I'll play it again. So imagine he sang like that in the actual chorus, with all the drums and guitar distortion. You wouldn't even hear his voice no matter how much you turned it up. So even in this section where he sings so low, they have all the instruments and everything so spread out because you have to be able to hear him because he's not singing those big high notes. So one more time, notice how the instruments are so turned down and they're so panned out even. And now he's back up. Oh, that was so good. I love this music so much. So Sum 41 has been one of my favorite bands for like 20 years now, and I'm pretty sad this is going to be their last album before they disband. But at the same time, I'm like happy for them because they're going out on top. They're going out on their own terms. They just said, this is our last album, we're going to have one last tour, and then that's it. So you have to respect that because, you know, a lot of bands kind of drag it out and then they just kind of fizzle out and one member quits, and then I think that's an uglier way to go. These guys are going out with a bang, the song is a banger, and the video was frickin' cool. I go to Vegas all the time and I've somehow never gone to the punk rock museum yet. Next time, going for sure. So thanks for hanging out. I hope you enjoyed it. And if you like this type of video, please subscribe. It really helps me out a ton. And if there's anything you want me to react to, just drop a comment and I'll check it out. So once again, thanks for watching and I'll see you in the next video. Ha ha!